One company built the tallest building on earth and paid for it in cash, $13.5 million, counted out from the profits of selling 5-cent goods. It ran what was called the largest lunch business in the world, and in the summer of 1997, it closed its last 400 stores in a single announcement. But here is the part almost nobody knows. The company never died. It is alive right now in every mall in America, wearing a different name, and you have probably been inside one this year. If you grew up between 1940 and 1990, the wooden floors told you where you were before you ever looked up. This is the story of Woolworths, and it does not end where you think. You heard the floor before you smelled the store. Real wood, dark with 60 years of wax, creaking under your shoes. Then the smell, right at the front, on purpose. Fresh popcorn turning in a lighted machine, warm roasted nuts under a heat lamp, scooped into striped paper bags for a quarter, and everything was touchable. Counters at waist height, open bins, toy soldiers and lipsticks and goldfish food at kid height. You went in with a dime, and the dime was real money, because in this store a dime bought something. A kite, a comic, a turtle from the singing pet wall in the back where the parakeets chirped over the goldfish tanks and you chose the one you would buy someday. Quick word, if this store is coming back to you right now, the floors, the popcorn, take 1 second and hit subscribe, because the ending of this one is genuinely not what you expect. All right, the counter. It ran the length of the store, chrome and red vinyl, with stools that spun, and you spun on one until an adult put a hand on your shoulder. A waitress in a paper hat called your mother honey. A grilled cheese pressed flat and cut on the diagonal. A cherry coke mixed by hand, or a malted in the tall glass with the metal mixing cup on the side. The extra half a milkshake, the most generous invention in American food. The counter was where the whole town sat. Shop girls, old men over coffee, kids, everyone elbow to elbow. Which is exactly why, on February 1st, 1960, 4 black college freshmen in Greensboro, North Carolina, sat down at those stools and asked to be served. They were refused, and they came back the next day with more students, and the sit-ins spread across the South until the country could no longer look away. That section of counter sits today in the Smithsonian. It became history because it was where everyone already sat. That was the store. Now the farm boy who built it, and how an empire this size can vanish and still be at the mall. Frank Woolworth grew up poor on a New York potato farm and turned out to be a terrible store clerk, too shy to haggle. Then he watched a table of surplus goods marked everything 5-cent strip itself bare with no salesman at all, and he understood something nobody else did. The fixed price, marked on the item, the same for every customer, was an invention waiting to happen. His first store, Utica, 1879, failed in months. He tried again in Lancaster, Pennsylvania that same June, and Lancaster worked, and by the time Frank died in 1919, there were more than 1,000 red front stores carrying his name. And in 1913, he did the thing that still sounds like a fable. He built the tallest building on the planet, the Woolworth building in Manhattan, and paid the entire $13.5 million in cash. No bank, no mortgage. A tower built out of nickels, and it is still standing on Broadway today. One quick thing before the fall. If this story has earned it, tap the like button. It genuinely helps a small channel. All right, 3 blows. First, arithmetic. The store's identity was in its name, the 5 and 10, and inflation dissolved it 1 year at a time until a 5 and dime could sell nothing for 5 or 10 cents. Cheap was its reason, and others were about to do cheap better. Second, 1962, the eerie year. Kmart, Walmart, Target, and Woolworth's own discount chain. Woolco all launched within months of each other. Woolworth had the deepest pockets and the most famous name, and it lost. Woolco was dead in America by 1982 while Walmart kept building. The discounters were not strangers. They were Woolworth's own children, and they ate the family business. Third, the malls pulled the shoppers off Main Street, the lunch counters started losing money, and the accountants recommended what accountants recommend. Close the counters. Store by store, the grills went cold, and with them went the last reason to linger. You cannot optimize a gathering place. You can only close it. And on a July day in 1997, the company closed all 400 remaining stores at once, 118 years over in one press release, and the wooden floors creaked under the crying shoppers all the way to the door. But back in 1963, Woolworth had bought a small shoe chain called Kinney, and in 1974, Kinney tried an experiment, a store selling nothing but sneakers, run by clerks in referee stripes. Foot Locker. While the dime stores bled, the sneaker chain grew, until the child was carrying the parent, and in 2001, the company simply took its name. F.W. Woolworth and Company is today called Foot Locker Incorporated. It never went bankrupt. It just took off its apron, put on a referee shirt, and forgot itself. The 5 and dime did not vanish. It is standing behind you at the register asking if you want the socks. And in Bakersfield, California, one last original Woolworth luncheonette still presses grilled cheese flat and mixes cherry cokes. A company can forget itself. A country remembers where it used to sit. So tell me down in the comments, what did you order at the counter and which corner was your Woolworths on? Someone from your town will read it and remember it with you. I read every single comment.